Almost Punk podcast with Colin and Olga. I'm Olga. How's it going, Colin?
Going good. Episode 32, wrapping up July, heading into August of 2022.
Oh
And we
my
got
gosh,
the
the
punk
year is almost
news
over.
and the punk stuff like we do every time we do a show, which is like once or twice a month, generally.
Or once a year sometimes, apparently.
32 shows in 2 years. So that is more than, I can't really do the math. That's more than,
I see.
I don't know, one every 3 weeks, approximately. How about that?
I see.
Okay.
Okay. So we want to start talking about
The
punk
news?
related news. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago, but it's still relevant now because it's a freaking crazy topic. Billie Joe Armstrong says he's renouncing his U.S. citizenship after Roe versus Wade reversal. Now, abortion is legal on a state by state basis or illegal on a state by state basis, if you want to say it that way. This country is crazy. I can't believe my generation was the one that made things even worse for women's rights. Can you believe this? Like, this is our people did this. This is nuts.
Well, I wouldn't call them our people, but
Our
I
age people.
can't believe it, but I guess everything has been getting worse for a while now. So
Yeah.
shocked, but in hindsight, not entirely surprised, I guess.
I mean, this is upsetting to me as a guy thinking, well, now they're taking away women's rights. It doesn't impact me directly, but I'm still pissed off in general. However, you're a woman. This actually does directly affect your rights. I mean, any how do you describe your mindset about what this world is going through? I don't even know how to question it. What are your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
mean, rage
Yeah.
and exhaustion, I guess, right now, more on the exhaustion side of things. It was a weird thing to wake up to for sure. And I mean, we're already seeing so many things in the news of like why this is such a bad idea, and yeah, like how it impacts people in so many different situations that people don't think about. I think this is like, per usual, issues are really complex and people want a yes or no to everything, and things are complex. And I think even if you don't believe in right to choose, there's always instances where most rational people will still say that this makes sense, even if they're not for abortion, they wouldn't get one themselves, whatever. But like, you know, in cases of like all these extreme situations for health, whether it's putting the woman at risk, whether it's rape, whether it's incest, like there's all these other situations. And I guess also a lot of times, not a lot of times, but in certain cases, if you have a miscarriage, that is how you get that out. And so there's all these nuances, and it's like we're living in the world where people want everything black and white all the time. It's annoying on many issues, including this one. But it's like, obviously nobody's right to tell other people what to do. You shouldn't tell other people to live their life based on your religion. That's upsetting. And two, like, even if you are delusional and you think everybody should follow your religion, even if they don't believe in your religion, they're not a part of your religion, for some crazy reason you think that your religion, like, first of all, but why your religion and not someone else's religion? There's like a ton of religions in the United States, and they have different views on everything. So that's one. But then two is like, even if that is what you think and you're completely extreme, like I still think there's a space to have conversation. Like there's always exceptions, and they're in some of these states, and then some of these situations there are no exceptions, and it's crazy. And that's, you can't make any decisions like that on a yes or no or, it's okay or not okay basis, especially with something that's this complex.
Yeah.
So it just feels like you live in the world with crazy people. Like, even if this isn't something you believe in at all, like, you should still see the nuance. It's a really messed up to be forcing people to become parents against their will, especially like where country's not doing great economically. We're not hitting like it's hard for people to survive as it is right now for a lot of people. And access, like, how do you even access prenatal care or whatever? Like, we don't live in the country where that's accessible to a lot of people. So it's extra messed up to then force them to become parents when, like, childcare is really expensive. Giving birth is expensive. Having prenatal appointments expensive, and so on. And like, we don't have a culture where we like make that easier for people. So it's extra messed up to then force them to be parents.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, the only way this can get changed is if everyone starts voting. No more, I'm going to let other people vote and have, conservative. Even though in this country there's fewer conservatives than non-conservatives, the conservatives make it a point to go vote. Like, the percentage wise, more people. That's how it must be happening. And so it's just, everyone needs to now vote non-conservatively, just to, like, you have to prioritize this as like your number one thing to get this changed, even if,
Yeah,
it's like,
but we can't change like the supreme, like those things take so long to go into,
yeah, no,
for
that
those
part you can't.
changes to happen.
You only
It's
can do it
like,
on a
oh, you
state
have
by
to,
state.
yeah, it's like you have to, oh, that's true. You can't do it on state by state basis, and you can wait for people to die, but like, it's just
That's what I mean. Like,
that's
in
such a
Texas, like,
time
so I live in
consuming thing.
California. In California, right now, and hopefully it's a liberal state. I don't have to worry about that at this particular moment in time. But then it's Texas, it's a different thing. There's more conservatives there, and so it's like, if you are trying to get abortion in Texas, you have to get all those people out. The only way you can do that is to get a vote out to get rid of all these anti-choice people. And over here in
Yeah.
California, I can't do anything about it, I feel like. So I just like,
Yeah.
but bringing it
Yeah.
back to Billie Joe Armstrong, I think he feels the same way. That's why he announced
Yeah.
that, he's renouncing his U.S. citizenship. I highly doubt it will actually
I
happen.
doubt it too.
I mean, just the tax implications alone will prevent him from doing it, because when you have to declare your $500 million and then you have to pay taxes on that to get into some countries,
Yeah.
and then you owe $100 million or whatever, it's not happening. But he can go live somewhere else,
That and
green
the,
card type thing.
yeah.
But I'm
And
glad
this
he
is
said
the
something,
same.
regardless.
Yeah, and this is like the same guy who said he was going to run for president. He's just saying things for attention at this point.
I mean, there should be more outrage. These ideas that we're coming up with as the solution, we have nothing. Billie Joe probably is a ridiculous idea. It doesn't help, but I mean, at least, like, it's getting the word out there so people know what's going on. Man, it's just so different. There's just so many different types of people. Like, some people, it would tick them off. Some people don't care. Some people vote. Some people don't vote. And then some people complain. So anyway, that's all I was just trying to say is, man, you got to go out there and get these people out of here, put in other people. It's the only thing we have, unless the liberals want to then become the gun-toting party and start mowing people down, which is insane. Like,
yeah. We'll see what happens. I don't know. He'll probably announce he's going to the moon next or something, or to space. That's like the eccentric rich person thing to do now. Is it used to be like you had like a fancy sports car. Now you're just like, oh, I'm going to space. So
well, now
maybe
you
he'll
got me
do that
thinking,
next.
what should, in your opinion, should punks, like famous punks, what should the famous punks be doing to do something. Is there anything that famous punks can do about this? Is there, I mean, is there anything that non-famous punks can do? All I know is voting.
I guess besides voting, like raising awareness of organizations that are, trying to give access to people to abortion, or yeah, like either by donating money or like, um, promoting those organizations. I think that's something famous punks can do. I think it's also like they're part of a community where like probably majority of people don't agree with it. So then it's like, do you need to spend more time? I don't know. That's an interesting question, right? Do you need to spend more time preaching to the choir, or do you want to go spend more time preaching to not the choir? I don't know what the opposite of a choir is, but it's kind of like, you go to a punk show, it can be naked. It's just people saying the same type of stuff and people echoing it back. So
well, you bring up a
it's
good point just on the providing information to increase access. So you'd be like, okay, all the punks could donate $10 to Planned Parenthood. It's like the one organization I know that you can get an abortion through, I guess. So it's like, let's say all the punks donated $10. You got to, I mean, let's say there's 1 million punks, then it's $10 million. And then that provides access for people to be able to go make a phone call to their local one. And then we get a different one that's over the state lines to be able to get them in one way or another. I mean, my God, what a crazy way to have to go about it. But that, I guess, is the way to go. Yikes, man. Yeah.
I think it's just another time where it's like, like there's always now that we're constantly going through these crazy events, it's always like people want to also act, and then there's like sometimes not enough thought being put into like for example, during Black Lives Matters protests, people were using the hashtag and it was actually like preventing people from organizing, and instead they were just like polluting the feeds with support, and there was all the backlash about it. It was just all the back and forth. And so it's like the same thing is, again, like you want to take action, but you also want to like take a minute to think about what the action should be, not like a decade, but like a minute, because you have to be like thoughtful about what the action is. Because yeah, sometimes like even like nonprofits, if I don't know, like sometimes they don't want to get all the donations at once for them to do budgeting. They would rather get like ongoing donations that are smaller than big chunks, because then they don't know how to like do budget for next year if they're or whatever, or they don't have the staffing to even utilize those funds yet, or things like that. Like it's even things that are done with good intentions. It doesn't, sometimes it's not the best action either.
All right. Well, ready to move on?
Moving on.
Completely unrelated. Steve Albini wins his second World Series of Poker bracelet. I wasn't going to go into this anywhere near as in depth as abortion rights. I just thought it was an interesting piece of news that he's a DIY producer. I guess he's known mostly now for Nirvana's In Utero as the producer, even though he doesn't call himself a producer, the recorder of the album, along with, Bush. He's done tons of bands. Oh man, I forgot a punk band I was going to even mention right off the top of my F minus. There we go. Wake Up Screaming. He recorded F minus's Wake Up Screaming, which I really like the way that album sounds.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And he's the recorder of that, and he's recorded thousands of bands, and he's actually, well-known, famous guy in the recording community, but he's a total underground dude. And well, now he made some serious money. We're talking 6 figures doing poker.
What a life.
What a life. Yeah. Any thoughts on punks winning money playing poker?
I mean, I'd rather he wins money than somebody who sucks.
There we go.
It's just crazy that he won and that it pays so much. Like it takes a lot of work to win, right? Like
Oh yeah.
you have to be really good. You have to practice. And I mean, I've had a friend who was into poker and there's
Yeah.
like books. It's not just like you show up and you play a game. You have to be really strategic about it.
Yeah, I think if you don't know anything about poker, you think of it as just lottery-esque gambling or like a pull the lever
Yeah.
type of thing that doesn't require skill. No, if you're playing at that level, you need to be good. I've gone to poker game. I have zero skills. I go and play people with skills and I lose. It's very predictable in that regard. The good people end up winning. That's what happens.
How much money did he win?
He beat 773 other players.
But yeah,
won $196,000. 196,000.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Oh, and I guess poker is part of punk culture. They have poker tournaments at Punk Rock Bowling every year.
There
Now
we
that
go.
I think about it,
See, it's related.
maybe he can show up to this one and to the one next year. I think Punk Rock Bowling announced they're just coming back in 2023.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a festival this year, so maybe he could show up and try to take everyone's money.
They saw the Punk Rock Bowling Committee, I believe they sent out a tweet this week. What band should be playing? I think we're probably going to have to send them some. Maybe we'll have it on our podcast show next time. What band should play Punk Rock Bowling? Because
we'll just send them the episode. Yeah, we always have thoughts. Yeah. We haven't planned the festival. We've made a lot of suggestions from the sidelines to each other. So
yes, so now we'll
totally
do the official podcast, and then we'll send a letter in the mail so to make sure they get it. We can send it certified.
Ooh, is there going to be like a cover letter? Yeah. Ooh, I like it. And then first it'll be a cover letter, like the Punk Rock Bowling Committee.
We'll sign it, like hand sign.
Oh wow. Yeah.
We'll do that way, and then we'll also do the exact same thing with DocuSign, and we'll send it over to them. Ooh. And then we'll see if they read the digital that we send, or if they read the snail mail. And then if the snail mail or ended up winning, oh my goodness, that would ruin my life because all I do at work is complain about we can do everything without all this paper. And I'm not even an environmentalist about this paperwork. Side tangent. I am just talking about what gets things done quicker. That was really what I was getting at. Anyway, we will tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, hopefully they don't ban us from the festival for being annoying. That would.
So more to come next time.
That would suck.
On bands to play. All right.
And speaking of bands, I want to see at Punk Rock Bowling every year. Next piece of news is Riverboat Gamblers announced shows and possibly new music.
Yes. They're
getting the band back together. Oh, wait, we talked to Mike Wiebe, and he said there's going to possibly have new music. So if you were listening to our podcast like a year ago, you would have known about it. But no big deal. It's fine.
You broke that news a while ago.
We're happy if you joined just now as well. But yes, so I'm excited because there has not been Riverboat Gamblers like new music in a while. There's a bunch of side projects. All of them have other bands. I think all of them have other bands at this point, and I go see those bands and I listen to those bands, but I want to see Riverboat Gamblers in San Francisco again. Is that asking for too much?
I mean, I looked at their website right now, and they've played 2 shows since that announcement, or actually it was like a festival, and so they played a handful of times.
And they had to cancel one show because Mike had COVID.
Oh,
so
and the next show that they play is in August. It's in Texas, so I'm in California. I'm not going to make that show, so they'll probably come west when they have whatever they're going to release. When they put it out, then they would go tour around it. That's what I'm supposing that would happen. So maybe these are like the
Yeah.
warm-up shows in preparation to get them back in the groove to go then record and put something out.
Well, I'm sure they also want to like release the album, which who knows because of
I'm
COVID.
hoping it's an album. That's a big
Yeah.
assumption too, because a lot of these bands put out singles. We already bought a
I know,
7-inch
yeah.
single last year from them. Remember
Yep,
that?
I do.
And I think it was a Ramones cover.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
It was the Motorhead Ramones song. And yeah, wasn't that right? Wasn't that what it was? I can't.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I just remember there's a pink one and a yellow one. And
yeah. Speaking of bands that putting out new stuff and doing new things that are old and have already done a lot of stuff in the past, Thrice 20th anniversary tour. Are you ready? It's actually, I should say 20th anniversary tour for Illusion of Safety specifically, because now they can do one every couple of years now for the next few releases.
Yeah. So am I ready? No, but sort of. I'm excited. I have tickets. I'm missing tickets for one of the shows. There's 4 shows. I think they announced Friday and Saturday. No, I think they announced 2 dates and then they added another date and then they added another date.
Oh,
so now it's 4 shows.
It's in
And
December
so I have
also.
tickets.
We should mention
It's in December, so I'm not like packed yet or anything. But it's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I don't have tickets for Saturday. So I'm kind of like, I need to find a Saturday ticket because it's annoying that I have Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
No days off.
And it's out of
going all in. Is that that's what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't like, I don't know.
You can hang outside the venue for one of the shows and then get in for free somehow. I don't know.
I have this theory, people. There's always a ticket for a family.
You can get in.
I'm excited. I'm excited about these shows because Illusion of Safety, I think it's a great album. I think it'll be fun. It sucks that they're not like touring on it. They're only doing shows in at House of Blues Anaheim, so it's like a hometown show for them, but makes sense for them. It's like an easy way to like place a couple of shows, not leave town for Christmas. It's like right before Christmas that you can be with your family, make some extra cash to buy them gifts. It's a huge win for everyone, I guess.
Illusion of Safety. That's the album that made Thrice, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is like
some people might say Identity Crisis, but I'm not. I'm saying Illusion of Safety is the definitive Thrice becomes Thrice.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. But except until then they become something else like 7 more times after that.
Oh, yeah. But I mean,
that is it is where they found their sound that they later evolved away from eventually. But yes, correct. So
good point. Very good point.
Yeah, it's like it is what I still think of as Thrice, but as I go through their discography, it is not necessarily.
How about I say it this way? It is the pinnacle of their screamo era, and the pinnacle, and arguably the pinnacle of screamo.
Yeah, I like that. That is accurate.
I mean, if you're a Thrice fan and you like screamo, I don't think there's any other band that you can like more than Thrice for screamo, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's people that do, but you know,
some people might like The Used, right? There's like crossover there.
There's a lot. I mean, some people like Finch the most. I don't know. People have different opinions. You know how it is. You know how people are with their opinions. But yeah, I am excited. That should be good. Hopefully they play, a lot of other B-sides and things like this. I mean, they're gonna have to play Deadbolt all 4 nights. So that's always fun. It's fun watching a band play the song that we all want them to play, but they don't want to play. It's a very passive aggressive.
It's so strange though, because I mean, I remember stories of Nirvana not wanting to play Smells Like Teen Spirit. They were tired of it. It's a huge hit. Like, it's the only reason why people go to the show. You play the song, everyone leaves. While you're playing, everyone yells. Deadbolt is not a hit. There are no millions of Deadbolt fans out there. There is a cult following. Yes, they got 100,000 people that want to hear Deadbolt, but that's not, I mean, I've been to a dozen Thrice shows. There was never an overwhelming chorus of no, hold on, hear me out. There were 5 people yelling out play Deadbolt the whole night. Don't get me wrong. Yes.
The whole night.
I'm saying
yes.
There's 1,000 people at the show, but they're yelling out other songs also.
True.
Deadbolt was not the definitive song of Thrice during my dozens of times seeing Thrice.
I think it is. I have seen them more than you. It is the song people, because they like make merch referencing, like, I think there's a t-shirt that says like, I've seen Thrice play Deadbolt 10,000 times. I think I own socks that say play Deadbolt. Like, it is such a part of the, it's an in joke so much that there's merch around it. That's how much it happened.
Man, you know what? It must have been when I was seeing Thrice the most. It was when
they're probably playing Deadbolt.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was, because I have heard the song at every show they've played.
They stopped playing it
once or twice.
But I was thinking, you know what, though, is they got tired of playing it, but now they have not played it in like 10 years.
Okay.
So now they can't, maybe it's kind of fun to play it again. I don't know. Maybe.
And it's not like Deadbolt is so much different than other songs. Because that's another thing. Sometimes you have a song that's like a ballad that doesn't fit in your set. And you're like, I don't want to play that. That's the song from
Illusion of Safety, though. That is the song.
Yeah, it's good. I don't have any problems with it.
I listened to it when I deadlift.
Okay.
It's Deadbolt. Like, yeah.
Well, now they'll be playing it for sure.
Yes.
Shows will probably be good. Yes.
I'm gonna listen to Deadbolt tonight when I go deadlift.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you do.
My evening is planned. I'm fun.
I wanted to briefly announce the Nightclubbing documentary with wild sex and drugs at Max's Kansas City. And so I just briefly wanted to mention a new documentary. It's called Nightclubbing, The Birth of Punk Rock in New York City. It's screening July 30th. This is the thing that I can't stand about all the events that we announce on the show. We've announced plays. We've announced Broadway shows. We've announced musical events. We've announced documentaries. We've announced books. A lot of these things you can't get. That's annoying. So like, that's going to be the other part. So this documentary comes out July 30th. I don't know where I'm actually going to end up seeing this thing, because it's not like it's streaming on a streaming service right now. And it's not like they're selling it on any Amazon type websites. So I really have no information. If I'm not going to see the movie in person on that particular night, I have no idea how to find these things. Maybe that's a grudge.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Watch it, or I don't know. However, I don't understand how
it's screening at Joe's Pub on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you just gotta go to New York, go to Joe's Pub.
Hold on, is it a specific Joe's Pub or any Joe's Pub?
It just says Joe's Pub.
All right, because I feel like we could find a Joe's Pub somewhere in Bay Area, right? There's got to be a guy named Joe that owns a pub.
It's got to be in New York to go along with their Max's Kansas City documentary.
This is just getting ridiculous.
And that's what it's about. Max's Kansas City, the nightclub in New York, and that holds importance to me, not because I was alive or went to any of those shows then, but I did, when I first got into punk, I went to the library and I was looking up how to find it. What is punk at the library? And Max's Kansas City, there was a CD there. It was called like Max's Kansas City. And it had Wayne County on it, Jane County, I should say. And then it had a Richard Hell. It had the New York Dolls on it. It had, I think, Rocket from the Tombs might have been on it. Anyway, a lot of like early Blondie, I think early Blondie. So it was just like a lot of early stuff that happened right before the Ramones took over. So it was good to get some historical context. Library, that's where you go to find out about punk.
Nice. And I love it that there's all these places you wanted to go visit in New York City, all these punk places,
Yeah.
but you've never been
Nope.
still, but you had a working itinerary. So when I went to New York, I went on the on your tour.
Yep.
And it was great. I had a good old time. And
Wow.
my friend
I'm
I
glad
was
someone
visiting.
did.
It was great. And then my friend loved it because she's like, oh, everybody makes me go to the same places. Like everybody wants to go see the Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. And you made me, or yeah, you made me, and I made her go to what's that bar? Not
Manitobas. But now it's
Manitobas.
out of business, so I'll never get to go to it.
And I've got to go twice.
Unbelievable. Can't
Yeah,
believe
so
it.
thank you. If anybody, Colin can specialize in punk tours of punk itineraries. There you go.
I
Punk
mean, a lot
itineraries.
of it's gone. You went at the right time.
It
You got
is.
to go to
I did.
Manitoba's. I mean, CBGB's.
Yep.
I don't know if it was still there, but it might have still been something. They might have had the art gallery thing there. I don't know what they're doing with it
And the
now.
best part is the second time I went to New York, my
Second
friend
time.
turns out to live across the street from Manitoba. So I was literally sleeping with an open window facing Manitoba's at
Yeesh.
night. That was really cool. I remember bragging to you about that one.
So just so people know, Manitoba's, I wanted to go to it because it was Handsome Dick Manitoba's bar, who was the singer of the Dictators, who were from New York, who they got assigned to a record deal right around the same time as the Ramones. Ramones got, well, semi-famous. Dictators did not get semi-famous. I think they're only popular in New York and maybe some cities in Europe. But their guitarist Ross the Boss went on to become the lead guitar player of Man o' War, which is a power metal band. It's just so weird how you start off in one of the earliest punk rock bands in the New York scene and you end up playing one of the biggest European power metal bands. Like, I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, that's another story.
But yeah,
Boy.
it was a cool bar.
Yeah, it's a cool bar.
It had photos from, old photos that they had on the walls and stuff. You would have loved it.
I would have loved it. All right. Well, ready to move on to the next topic?
Yes.
Oh, more crap going on with this country. The January 6th riots, where some people tried to take over the government, and
I mean, some people,
this is just a crazy country at this point. Anyway, some people were wearing Descendants t-shirts, and these people are oath keepers, the right-wing, far-right, anti-government militia who claim to be defending the Constitution. The Descendants had to put out a statement disavowing any ties to the January 6th storming of the Capitol. This world is crazy. And the Oath Keepers, I believe, were the same group that the Iced Earth musician, I can't remember if it was the singer or the guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
He was also, a member of that organization. Man.
What that story just like made me think about is, it reminded me of like Fred Perry, the clothing brand, having to denounce skinheads with like the alt-right, like just a couple years ago, because they were using their shirts. And then two, it's interesting because as a fan of stuff, I'm always like, ooh, like you're always thinking like, oh, that's my favorite band. I hope nobody becomes a racist person, or what if I get this tattoo and da 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 da. But I never thought about it from the artist's point of view, that apparently you also have to think about like, will some crazy person go on a massive shooting spree wearing your t-shirt or something? Like, that's crazy. That could happen too. We live in a world where that happens too. So it's like, it's crazy.
This just goes to show how dumb people are that are fans. Like, you're wearing a Descendants t-shirt, you're storming the Capitol. Like, how does one become a fan of Descendants and then storm the Capitol? This is like someone who's like, man, Rage Against the Machine would be a great band if they weren't so political. Or,
remember there's people criticizing like, oh, they should, that people didn't even know that Rage Against the Machine, like they've even used it in some videos for like alt-right type stuff. So like their music. So it's yes, correct. People don't know, but it is crazy that people don't know. So maybe we just need to dumb down. All their lyrics need to be like dumbed down, like la 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 la. Like we don't, you can't talk about Rage Against the Machine. That's like too abstract of a concept. You have to be like, this song is called anti-capitalism, or this song is called we hate the racists, or this song, like you can't. And even then, people will probably hop around to it, but apparently people can't pick up on things.
Well, I mean, you brought it up at the beginning of the show. Yeah, you brought it up earlier. Like no one can handle nuance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think a lot of people just take things at exactly the face value. They'll be like, do you think babies should be killed? No, exactly. And then that's it. Or they would be like, do you think that, we should rage against machines? Oh, like robots? Yes, we should. I think that's, and then you're flabbergasted.
Oh my God, I liked them so much better before they went all commie liberal on me.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they probably thought it was they probably watched the Terminator and they thought, oh, this is like against the machines and Terminator movies. Yes. I don't like those robots running around trying to kill teenage boys and stuff. So they're like, of course, see, it's just the band just what were they thinking naming the band that?
I wonder what other punk shirts were in the crowd of the January 6th, right? We got Descendants in there. There had to be some Green Day fans. I mean, they're so big, you would figure someone was wearing one. And, who knows? It's crazy.
There's probably a Misfits shirt in there.
Oh, Misfits for sure. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Like there's not even a doubt in my mind that is going,
man, people.
Right?
People.
So yeah. And then and then how many bands did we talk about where like part of the band is now like super all right? And it was like, what? I mean, how can you expect the fans not to be it when there's actual people who have been in like Misfits and other bands that have become even Sex Pistols. Yeah. There's people who have been in those bands that are very conservative now. So how could you not expect the fans to be?
That's unbelievable. Oh,
it is unbelievable. So maybe to earlier conversation, what we can do, apparently, maybe just saying the same things into a group of people who allegedly like have similar values. Maybe we do need the repetition. I don't know. Maybe more bands need to explain their lyrics. There needs to be an interpretive it could be like a book report. After you finish the song, apparently you're supposed to introduce somebody to explain the meaning because people can't.
Well, here's the thing. Even if you're a band and you have no political songs, you still don't want these people wearing your shirt and going on a anti-government takeover, pro-Trump fascism riot. It's like every band needs to put out a white paper or a mission statement saying like, even though our songs don't have anything to do with this, we don't want this in our crowd. Like, is that what you got to do now?
For a lot of those bands that would cut into their profit, and some care and some don't. So
some care and some don't. I guess that's the thing. Well, moving on to new music.
Yeah, but I think it's not up to the band. It's not like band's responsibility to like. They're not responsible for actions of every person who's bought their shirt or whatever.
That's
like
true.
It's
absolutely
crazy to like it's also like it's not their fault. Like, and I mean there are bands who like even I don't know, like we talked about Nerve Agents a couple months ago and they like kicked somebody out of a band because of like they didn't agree on stuff. So people do things on, even on like in smaller bands. So just because somebody bought your t-shirt doesn't mean you're friends or you share the same values or opinions or views.
Good point. But then it makes me not want to buy the shirt. So then I'm like,
True. Can't punish the band.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about new releases.
All right,
First one is Static Dress.
Static Dress with the crazy long title. and I just marked it down as Unexplainable Titles, and it's just this really long thing without spaces. Anyway, I listened to this song, and I couldn't even believe it was a new release. It sounded like 2006 screamo, but no, the band
it
is
sounds like
semi-new.
they should open the illusion of safety.
Absolutely. And I
20th
liked
anniversary
shows. That's what even
Me
threw
too.
me for a loop, because when screamo was at its peak, I was, I like some. I'm not into it. I'm not into the scene at all, but I'm like,
You
okay,
weren't an
Thrice is cool.
enthusiastic.
No. And then I'm just listening to new stuff, and this comes on. I'm like, what? Yeah. Static Dress. I don't think I'm going to like every song by them or anything like that, but Unexplainable Titles, hey, this is a new band. They formed in 2018. I'm going to be paying a little more attention to see if they got anything else I want to check out. I did enjoy the song, and throwback to 2006 screamo. It was on more of the hardcore end of it, but it certainly did have the poppy part as well. But overall, good. Anything else to add before I move on to the next one?
No.
Next one,
I liked it too.
Destructo Disc, who, when looking up their name and where they're from, by the way, they're from Virginia, formed in 2015. Ooh. Apparently, it's a reference to some anime. I knew what it was before I started. That's how quickly I forget about anime. Anyway, it's a reference to an anime show, and there's some Destructo Disc that's in the cartoon, and they use it for something special. And when looking up the band, that's how I found out about it and learned that the Destructo Disc, the band, is less popular than the Destructo Disc anime reference. So that was the background story on that. Regardless, it sounded like Alkaline Trio, kind of 90s pop punk, the late 90s pop punk era. And I was like, okay, for what it is, I like it. It was good. Mm-hmm. It was just a quick thing. Any thoughts on that one?
I thought that too. It was good. I liked it. I like the other songs that you picked too. The next one is from Dollyrocts, which I didn't know they were still. Of the song.
Hold on. Destructo Disc, Breakfast in Space. There we go. Now we can move on.
Good job. Now we can move on. The next song was from Dollyrots, Alone Again. And I was like, wait, they're still around. And then I remembered I saw them at the Warp Tour. There was an anniversary show, like the last show or whatever. It was a couple of years ago. So of course I had to go, and I saw Dollyrots there. And then I was like, oh yeah, no, they're still around. I just kind of saw them. I wonder what the song is about, because it's called Alone Again.
That's true. Similar to your impression, I mean, I can't believe I know that they've been around this whole time. That's why I put it on the list. They have just been around forever. They don't go away. We got into them in the early 2000s. I think it was 2001 or 2002 when they got put on a commercial. I still think that's their best song, Feed Me, Pet Me.
For HP.
Yeah, it was a printer. They were just the background music for a printer commercial that they played at the movies. And I'm like, this band is awesome. And for 20 years, they've been riding that HP commercial. That's funny. No, they actually never play that song anymore. And their sound, it's just pop punk, lookout style pop punk. It's been like that forever. And I can't believe they're still around, but they still keep cranking them out. The husband and wife, the singer and the guitar player, they had a baby. I'm pretty sure as soon as that kid is old enough to play drums, they're just going to put that kid on the drums, and they're just going to be a family band. Mark my words. 10 years from now, they're still playing. Their kid is playing drums. That's oh boy. So yeah.
Okay. So breaking this to you. So the song has so few listens on it. I was like, wow, Colin, you're like breaking the song. Like you found it so early on. But I am looking at their Instagram, and there's literally pictures of them playing with children. So I don't know. I know that you didn't know this going into this because you're not on social media at all, but I think you might be onto something.
Oh my goodness.
Perhaps.
Well,
Yeah,
The
like
photo that you just showed me, though, they look like they're 8 years old. I mean, that's a little young. Well, maybe
yeah.
they're musical prodigies, I guess. It's not
Oh,
wrong.
it's another band. No, who are these kids?
Oh my goodness. Now there's
But
children just taking over
anyways,
the
but
scene.
it
Well,
doesn't
that's fine.
matter. But I feel like the precedent is being set. That
Okay.
the idea is going to be like, oh, we should just have our kid play the band, you know?
Oh
Oh
boy.
no, it is. They do have kids that are starting to be old enough to be play instruments.
Okay. I mean, they still look
So,
like they're in elementary school to me. But
well, yeah, but you know,
how hard is it to play that style of music? Do you think you could do it when you're 10? Maybe. Not
well,
me.
me
I
no,
couldn't.
but
No, me
their
not.
kids with
I
those
couldn't play it
genetics,
now.
having two parents. If you have two parents, both of your parents are in the band, you have to do it to prove yourself. Isn't
I
that like a
know
whole
their
thing?
rebellion is going to be like getting business jobs, working at the bank, because they're like, Mom and Dad keep trying to make me a punk and I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what people do, because that's the thing, is the people whose parents are so established in like entertainment industry, they ride that because they're like, oh, I could like have to go to work, or I could try to just become a model or whatever. And like, you know, they have the right connections for all of that anyways. But the people who are like in smaller bands who saw their parents just financially struggle, they're probably like, I'm going to go be a CPA and I don't need to be doing all of this, whatever this is. Yeah, you're right.
I'd say so, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you ready for grudge time?
I am ready for a grudge. Do
Go
you have a
ahead.
grudge this week? My grudge is when a song goes viral and then everybody uses it in the background of their video on like social media, and then like after a week I can no longer ever hear that song again, even if I like the song, because it'll be like, here's how you make the salad recipe, the song, here's how you, like, it's just, you hear it so many times a day that you are just like, it's worse than like, if a song is big on radio, you'll hear it, you know, say you're listening to radio all day long, you'll hear it probably like 30 times. But if it's a song is big on social media, you could hear it 30 times in an hour, like in bits and pieces. And it's just driving me crazy. And I realized as soon as a song goes viral, I cannot, like, once it reaches that, I'm just like, I can't. And now I don't care how good the video is, if it's a dog, if it's a recipe, if it's whatever, like I have to turn the sound off or skip the video because I just can't, like, it's too, you can't listen to the same 30 seconds of music all day long. It makes me go crazy.
I'm out of the
know
loop.
what to say.
The last viral song that I'm familiar with is Gangnam Style.
Oh my God.
Yep. I don't know what's a viral song right now.
The Kate Bush song that apparently was in Stranger Things.
Okay, well, I mean, that song's from the 80s. I mean, I've heard it on the radio.
And I have nothing against the song. It's a good song. I don't watch that show, whatever, but it's just like, I've heard it enough times where I can't hear it anymore, like ever again.
That explains a lot, because I knew I had heard Kate Bush's Run Up the Hill. It's on Stranger Things and has now gone back on to #1 on the pop charts. So I was familiar, and I thought it was going to be a 1 week thing and then it was going to go away. And so I actually heard it on the radio and I thought, oh, okay, well, that's probably the last time I'm going to hear that one. But then I actually did hear it again and one more time. So I've heard it 3 times, but not, not times a day.
Sometimes I hear it that many times in like a minute.
Even so, something else has to come and take it over. Is that?
Yeah, but no, because I don't even need, like, I don't want more things to go.
Okay.
It's just, maybe I want things that, but then I'm conflicted. Would I rather somebody who is actually like deserves some like success going viral, or do I want complete garbage to go viral, so I just skip it off the bat immediately and I'm never exposed to it ever? You know what I mean?
Wow. I guess I'm glad I'm out of the loop on that one.
Yeah, but now you don't even know that Dollyrocks have kids that are old enough to play instruments.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I can do research, you know, if I get off my butt.
Yeah, that's a big if.
Oh boy.
What is your grudge?
The word and action of manifesting. I just came up with this earlier. For a little bit, I was fine with it. Now I'm absolutely against it. And now I hate it. I see. Manifesting is the thought that you were just going to make things happen because it's fate. It's going to happen due to fate. And I was thinking about it.
No, not even fate. It's because of how positive you are. That's why it happens.
Yes. So, and this is how it comes back to punk was Panic at the Disco has a song, High Hopes, and one of the lyrics is like Mama said something about manifest destiny. And I was thinking, oh, that's when the United States decided that all the land in North America was for the United States, and we were going to go kill everyone or give them diseases, take over, and we're justified because we're manifesting it. You know, we're making it happen that way. But it wasn't actually manifesting that made that happen. It was the action of going into new territories and killing all the people that live there and making them sick. So it was not actually manifesting anything. It was taking actions to kill people to take over their land. And I think of the same word when I think about what does it take to get things done, I'm going to go manifest it. But in reality, if you want something to happen, you're going to actually have to kill some people in quotes, you know, take these actions that are going to get you the results that you need. Man, thinking about it, I could say is an early step in the process.
Yes,
but just
it's
manifesting on its own with no other actual actions, I'm against it. It reminds me of The Secret, and I'm also against The Secret. So that's another thing.
It's the same thing.
There we go.
Because The Secret teaches you how to manifest. That's this. Yeah, I think
that's The Secret.
That's The Secret.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
the secret is you do. The only people who accomplish anything, they do nothing. They just are really positive and they think about it. Boom.
Yeah. And it's as demonstrated by the heirs to the richest people in the world. Therefore, it applies to everyone. And you can manifest anything that way when you are an heir to millions in dollars and power and previous positions in high profile industries. Yeah, it works great.
It does work.
No.
I saw a comedian saying that there's a lot of like younger people talking about manifestation on TikTok. And he was like, no, it's not because you manifested it. These things just happen to you because you're attractive. Like all the attractive people. I just did this. Well, yeah. And then it's like, well, then it's problematic on a lot of different levels, but one of them is, well, if bad things happen to you, it's your fault because you manifested, you know, being robbed or held at gunpoint or like, that's all on you.
Yeah.
So it's victim blaming. So that's another criticism of that way of thinking. So,
well, that wraps it up for me.
Well,
what about you?
Same here. Sounds like it's time to wrap it up. Follow us on Instagram, Almost Punk. Send us an email, almostpunkpod@gmail.com. If you have any grudges or if you have music you'd like to share. Some people start sending us their music. We listen to it.
That's true.
So do that. And until next time.
Over and out.
Bye.